And we're live. Hello all, and welcome back to the Sigil stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here once again with the fantastic, the amazing, and sometimes hilarious Ahmed.
Iron Man 2 on a budget.
That's what happened.
Erica.
Doing movie critiques over here.
Of course, Gary with his Wolverine shirts.
And Wolverine is just here too, and we're hanging out.
Hi, Wolfie. And of course, the evergreen Joe. Evergreen.
Just always green.
Always green. And we are here once again with Hereafter, the first fire chapter. Niner! Welcome to Tuesday nights. It is, of course, a pleasure to be here, as always, with you lovely people. How's everybody doing? How was everyone's weekend?
Excellent.
Pretty good. Just coming off American Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, how is that?
How was American Thanksgiving? Did you get all Americanized?
I am now American. Yep.
Oh,
Excellent.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
You can still come here. You can still come over here, Gary.
You can still come to Canada.
I went to Canada, right? So I'm not an American
Nah.
citizen. And like
Don't start that.
at the border, they were like, "Oh, you needed a separate visa to come to Canada because you're European. They shouldn't have let you on the plane." And I was like, "Oh no, that sucks." And they were like, "You can just do it on your phone over here. Yeah, we'll let you through." Whereas leaving Ireland to come to America, they did not want me to come.
Well, because it's Americans, isn't it?
Very interesting customs experiences.
Like if you're leaving Ireland to go into America, it's an American that's processing you. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Canadians were just like, "Yeah, come on in. Yeah, do your thing on your phone. Yeah, enjoy the skiing."
See, so many people have said that. So many on every side have said that the American customs going in is awful and rough, and they're short. And the Canadians are super nice. I've had the exact opposite experience every single time.
Really?
The Americans are so nice and sweet. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are great. We're chit-chatting, having a great time. Canadians, no.
So there's two thoughts to this. Because I don't know where each live. You know what I mean? Like a Canadian border agent might be living in the States, even though he's a Canadian border agent, if they're the one letting you in, and vice versa. But additionally, I think this goes to show that people are just assholes, no matter where you go or what you're doing.
Yeah.
People,
But like the border towns,
Sure.
like the border towns, the people are the same on both sides of the border, right? Like I mean, that's close enough,
Border
right?
people.
Like you can't,
Border people. Oh.
you know what I mean? Like if you live like right on the edge and
The
it doesn't matter.
borderland.
To be fair, most of Canada is just an entire country of border people. Like we're all 10%. I think it's like
Border
90% of Canada
One
lives in
person more
10%
bored than
of
the
the
last.
border.
Border collies,
Yeah.
border people.
Absolutely. It's amazing.
Yeah, and to me, there's a bit of leeway when you're on the border of something too. I remember going to Alaska once and went to a town that was like right next to the Yukon border, and I went in and I tried to buy a beer with Canadian currency. Not
How
having
dare
it. It was
you.
awesome. This was way before our dollar tanked too. Like I think our dollar was on par. I just remember being like, buying a beer or whatever, and like pulling it Canadian, and the waitress just like looking at me with the most fuck you eyes and being like,
take that.
"This is America, honey." And I'm like, "Okay, sorry. I have both." I just figured since it's like literally a stone's throw that you wouldn't care. Obviously you did, and I never went back to America.
Well, those border people, they care extra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they're
can
very
right there.
salty.
They could see Canadian money across the river, you know? Like,
That's
Yeah.
true. And they
There's just
test it.
piles of it.
I mean, our money does look worse, but it's also distinguishable from each other, which I think
call
is...
it-
I like our money.
Cool.
We have a
no,
little
your
window
money's
in it.
cooler than our money.
No,
Ours is all
I
just
would
green.
not argue it's cooler. I would argue I like our now this is one that I don't know if you
This is a
Americans
hot
know,
take.
but did you know, and this is true, that our $100 bills smell like maple syrup?
It's
Do they
not
really?
true. I have sniffed
it
them.
is.
It does not smell like maple syrup.
Erica, you're thinking of
Erica,
the
stop
old bills
sniffing
then,
money.
because I'm telling you that the new bills do smell. They have a scent. Yeah, there's a new updated bill, and they
Maybe
have.
I'm so
It's
inundated
like
by
a
the smell
scratch
of
and
maple
sniff?
syrup. Like
No,
I keep
just a
smelling all
sniff
the
and
maple
sniff.
syrup waterfalls and fountains that we have just at every Canadian corner that I just can't smell maple syrup anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe they also lose some of their smell if they.
For
get
the record, bank official Jeremy Harrison says no cent has been added to any of the new banknotes.
Well,
Never
there's
mind.
Yeah, that's what the banking
Sniff money for
Illuminati wanted to
validation.
think.
I really
this is
thought
the
they did.
This is the thing.
Do Canadian bills smell?
I will say that the one thing that I will always appreciate between Canadian money over American money is that I can distinguish which bill it is. I have so many times tried to pay something in American cash, handed over a one, realized, oop, that's not the right one, and then try to sift within the tourist cash that I brought with me, trying to be like, please, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best, I'm not used to this. It's just...
Color-coded money is where it's at.
That's it. I don't mind if it's a tacky, like, Joel Schumacher palette. I just want to be able to tell what's
Joel
what.
Schumacher palette. Round of applause. That's a deep cut. I like that. That's a Batman reference, by the way.
It is. That was, I realized we were going pretty
The
Marvel
third
heavy.
one, right?
Had to
Like,
rep.
Batman
It
and
was.
Robin.
It's Batman Forever.
Number
isn't
3
it?
and 4.
Batman 3 and
Forever.
4. Yeah,
those are
Batman
very
Forever
colorful.
and the Evergreen. I'm using that a lot today. For some reason. Batman
They
and
had
Robin.
the nipple suits, didn't they?
They both
They
did.
had the perfect suits, is what you're trying to get at.
Yes.
That's
True.
that's the
Oh wait,
dream.
those aren't the nipples.
Batman,
Oh wait,
right?
no, there are some nipples.
They're
See,
not
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 bad
everybody
nipples.
has them.
The really sad part is that they toned down the cod pieces between the 3rd and 4th because
Yeah, they should have
Robin was doing a full
eventually.
starfish for a while, and then they just, decided that was too inappropriate.
Funnily
Just
enough,
fun facts.
Joel Schumacher also did like 8mm, which is like a gritty. It's actually a great movie, but it's like a very
Nicolas Cage.
gritty underworld movie about a murder, and then almost directly after did Batman Forever, which is just so weird.
He wanted to have
I
some
think-
fun.
Yeah, I think for what it was
Yeah.
going for, it kind of did what it was trying to do. It was trying to be more like Batman, like the Adam West, right? And that's kind of what they were trying to.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because before like comic book movies got off to being like money makers, they really were not. They were like kind of the crappier movies.
Aw, Blade.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Before the era of like,
That was the golden one, guys. That was
Yeah, but that was like
beautiful.
1998.
Blade is the reason they made Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think that
And
was
Deadlands.
the
1998.
reason.
That was
They
1998.
made enough money from Blade to actually do something later, I guess, or something.
Oh,
Or
so
that was
proud of them.
definitely a cash. It was
Yeah,
it was a lot of money
so
for them.
Batman Forever was 95, and then presumably Batman and Robin was probably like 97, and then Blade was 98. So that was like the first trend of they can be profitable. Then came the Spider-Mans, which like
Yes.
redefined the genre.
The Sam Raimi ones.
Oh, Sam Raimi.
Wesley Snipes gave us 3 glorious things, and that was
No.
1,
He
Blade,
gave us-
and that was
Oh.
2, Demolition Man, and 3, hilarious tax fraud. And that was his contribution to the planet.
That's great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but Blade 2 is better than Blade 1, in my opinion.
Was Blade 2 the one with Ryan Reynolds in
I've
it?
never seen it.
No,
No,
that's
that was
Blade
3.
You've
Blade
never seen
3
Blade
apparently.
2?
I didn't know there was a third one, guys. This
Yeah,
is a
there's
lot of
Blade,
news.
Ryan
Blade
Reynolds
2
and Jennifer
and Blade
Beal, and they're
Trinity.
both like badass.
Oh,
fighter
Trinity.
archers.
Oh,
After
yeah,
Blade 3,
yeah.
people were like, Ryan
Julia
Reynolds
Roberts.
needs to play Deadpool. And that was when
Yeah.
he heard about Deadpool and then pursued Deadpool for
And then
the
played it
decade
and
after
played it
until got
terribly.
made.
And then he got to play it better because he played
God,
it
in the Wolverine
and it
Origins.
sucked. Yeah,
Crawl before you can run.
Blade 2. If you can only watch one Blade movie, watch Blade 2. Doesn't
All right,
talk about
that's
the
gonna be
backstory,
happening.
but it's far superior.
I'm going to be reporting back on my opinions of Blade 2. So everyone, just let me know. First question.
Fantastic.
Just kick me out if I don't have an answer.
Yeah. Okay.
Blade 2,
I'll ask
Blades.
next week. Next week, you got 1 week to watch Blade 2.
All right. Let's do
It's
this.
great. It's got Ron Perlman. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro, so it's got like
Nice.
yeah. It was his like first American action movie. It's so good.
How the hell did I miss this?
Is
I don't
it on
know.
the Netflix?
I don't know, maybe. But Blade 2 is I only ever if I ever watch Blade, I only ever watch Blade 2. I don't bother with the first one. First one's fine. But Blade 2 is where everything got badass. It's got like some of the cliches. Norman Reedus is in it.
Oh.
Ron
nice.
Perlman's in it. Guillermo del
I
Toro.
know why I didn't watch Blade 2 because
Why?
I was 12.
Oh,
That wasn't allowed.
watch Blade 2.
Now I can.
Can now.
Yeah, finally old,
Legally.
technically old enough.
Technically, almost old enough for ultra porn.
porn.
But no, Blade 2 is where it's at. And Blade 3 doesn't exist. It's kind of garbage, but and the vampires in Blade 2 are far superior. They're so cool. The design of them are so awesome. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Hereafter, chapter 9 tonight. We're really excited to be back. We got a great comment in the section right here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dick Wraith.
Thank you.
I feel like that is the wonderful tone set for today.
Yes, elephant penis. Elephant
That's
pee.
right, trick.
Have you ever seen an elephant pee? I have.
I've seen
Yeah,
one.
did you seek it out or did it
I
just happen?
saw it out. Yes, I was looking for the meaning of life, and I found it, my friends. No, you know what? Elephants pee like you were to cut open a plastic bag of water. It's very fast and very there's no stream. It's sort of just like
That urethral sphincter must
It's efficient.
hide
it's good.
just a huge vessel.
It's like their gates open and the water comes out.
Is it like those planes that go over forest fires?
Yes. Yes. Except
I'm on the
far
same page.
more
Except-
entertaining.
much more in
And less
terms of
depressing.
volume.
You know
Oh,
those
God.
planes that drop all that. You know they drop like tons of fish too, eh?
Oh
And,
yeah.
and people will
'Cause they
find
just grab
it's
the
funny.
water out of them.
Yeah, because what will happen is people will be walking these like burnt out woods, and there'll be like salmon stuck in the trees, like dead
Aw.
salmon flapping around. Yeah, it's sad. No one realizes that. They're like scooping up all this water, and they're scooping up all these fish.
Oh,
Just dropping
That's where Nessie
hundreds
ended
of
up.
feet.
Yeah.
Imagine being that fish, like waking up in the morning and be like, I'm gonna go see what this. Whoa! And then all of a sudden you're just falling. You didn't even know the sky existed, and now you're falling from it. Like, what? Fucking crazy! Like, this thing's like my entire life exists in this water. There is nothing above it, and all of a sudden, like, how do they understand that? Do they think they're
I
being
don't think
like?
they do.
No, they
Sam's
do.
just like,
Fish
oh, it's a bit
understand.
different. I'm falling. Shit, this is not good.
Well,
You know what I mean?
You gotta
Like-
see it from the other point of view, Harlan. I mean,
That would be
it's
like-
honestly great because you're thinking you're a bear having the worst day in your forest.
Oh, that's
Suddenly, here's a snack.
Barbecue.
Just a little bit of consolation.
But that would be
Yeah,
like Gary walking to work and being sucked out of existence, like through a hole in time, and then just thrown, but not even into space, because space is a familiar concept for you. It'd be like you are suddenly thrown into something that you can't even comprehend.
An
But
ocean?
then, yeah,
Ocean.
I would be like the salmon. I'm unable to comprehend that dimension of
Douglas
existence.
Adams actually wrote a passage of a sperm whale coming
Yeah,
to
the
terms with the
petunia.
exact
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing. Well,
Yeah.
the
The petunia
petunia
plant.
thought process was just, oh, not this again. But
Right,
the
but that
sperm
was-
whale
it was
had
the
like
whale
a
and the petunia,
whole.
yeah.
Mhm.
But so now
gonna
we've
mention that.
covered a really interesting concept. What do the fish think? The ones that make it back to the water, because sometimes you end up skimming a forest fire and you just happen to come across maybe a small lake within the woods, and I'm sure the percentage of fish, though slim as it is not zero, that end up falling from the sky and landing back into water. What do they tell their fish friends?
That's how you
Can
get an invasive
fish
species.
reach
right there.
terminal velocity?
I mean,
Fish
what
don't
is
have
it?
terminal
tonight
velocity.
on Hereafter.
That's the equivalent of like alien abduction, right?
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's, it's,
except-
it's not different for them. It's just a giant pelican. They're used to that. It's like,
If
oh,
they-
pelican
yeah.
They're
dropped
not
us.
used
We're
to
fine.
that.
Yeah, that's kind of.
If they get picked
Some of
up
the
by a
grizzled
giant
ones
pelican,
are.
they're not going to.
That's
Giant
true.
pelican.
You only have
Picked
one
up
chance
by
to get used to
7
it if you get picked up by a
That's
pelican.
right.
I think
You
I
need
have a new
about 30
RPG
seconds
idea,
to
and
get
it's
used
called-
to what your newness
It's
is,
called
and then
Fish
you're
Out of Water, and it starts off about a fish getting picked up by a giant airplane, and then it just ends.
But
You
I
just
mean, there's a
follow the
bunch of
fish.
time
It's
that they
just- it's
spend
just
in the
over.
belly of the helicopter, right?
Saying hi to all
plane.
their
In
friends.
the plane?
Who it doesn't matter.
Plane
I
It
guess
should, be,
helicopters
it should be
do
the
it
drop
as well.
point, yeah.
It's a plane.
Have a
I
good little
gotta
party.
say, those. I don't know if you've ever watched these, extinguished fires, and I applaud the people that do.
I
it,
only
of
like them.
course. What?
I said I only
just
light
okay.
them. I don't watch them get
No, but
extinguished.
but I mean to say that I every time I see a plane douse flames, nothing looks like it's effective. It looks so ineffectual.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Spitting on a house fire.
for real though, and it makes me feel like I'm wondering. I'd love to read this. I don't actually want to read the stats. I'd love for someone to talk condescendingly to me about why that's so wrong of an opinion. But to me, it feels like, yeah, you're spitting on a house fire.
Like the picture of the guy with the bucket throwing water into the next window of the burning apartment. That specific picture.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, and it's just nothing, no difference. Mind you, I guess you could like outline the fire, right? If you like soak the wood.
Yeah,
They
you
strategically
get bits of it.
They strategically
I
do all
have
that
seen
stuff.
that, but the problem is I've never seen
And
a
they
plane.
release a lot of. It's
Yeah,
like,
but I've
it's
never
a lot
seen
of
a
pressure
plane
too.
doing
They're
that.
launching at great speeds as well, and it's just. But the part that it puts out. Like it just.
Yeah, but then it immediately gets engulfed.
Which
But that's
means
like
no
one
barbecue,
strip.
like Joe said, I think, before.
That's right.
Yeah, no.
If
When
it does
when
its
they
job,
do,
you don't. Yeah. It's just
I
raw
think they
fish.
pre-burn like woods.
Yeah, to
like,
stop
as
it spreading.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of techniques that I'm
The
sure they-
counterfires.
If you're a
So
firefighter,
anyway,
let us know.
RPGs tonight. Hereafter, Chapter 9. Sorry about our on-topic conversation.
They love it.
Hey, don't, but that's
People
okay.
actually, I was talking to a friend of mine today who was like, "Yeah, I watch your I listen to your podcast. Oh, I listen to like the first 20 minutes of your podcast before you guys start playing D&D." And then I stopped.
Oh no!
Wait,
They
it's border
specifically-
people, the water fire rescue pilots, and then like pelicans.
Existential
D&D now,
crises of
log off.
fish.
Canadian money,
Yeah.
Yes, maple syrup.
Batman.
Yeah.
To go back to that for a second, people do smell it. It says some people are like, "Oh yeah, it actually smells like maple syrup." Blah, blah.
Yeah.
The bank says no, but I'm not making it up. It might be something in their printing process that, you know what?
There's one guy in there with like a
One
little
guy.
syringe.
No, not even. He's just like I smash cut to this dude eating
made
a
of maple
stack
trees.
flapjacks, and
Mhm.
he's just like, and they're like, "David, you watch those bills," and he's like, "I will," and he turns and he knocks the syrup, and thus it's
Into
like
the
beginning
pulp
of
mill just for the 100s.
it's like if you watch the beginning of Lord of War, where it's like following the path of a bullet, you know, and it's like starts off with the metal sheet and then the
Oh,
casing, and it all
yeah.
ends with it being fired. It's really cool, but it's like that, but with a Canadian 100 that smells like maple syrup, and it ends with me going, "It does smell like $100."
Have you ever
No.
actually huffed $100 and been like, "Yes, maple syrup"? Yum.
I got fat mad stacks.
The time you did that, were
I have
you eating
smelled
maple
that
syrup?
and did smell like maple syrup. Yes. Was that Gary?
Were you eating maple syrup at the time? Because that really could explain a lot.
Obviously.
That's tradition.
Oh,
You get a maple
He solved it.
pancake, and then you get a $100 bill. That's how the bank hands it to you in Canada.
It's the only way. Funnily enough, and it's great because I was going to be like, you know, Canadians don't eat maple syrup as much as
Wrong.
you think.
Wrong.
I actually had maple syrup this morning, which is very funny.
It's
and you
delicious.
probably
Why wouldn't
do.
you?
I didn't.
You didn't? You had
I gave you
breakfast?
my pancakes.
You gave me my pancakes. That's right. You
I
gave
brought
me my
pancakes home just for you.
They were mine. But I did have
That's so funny. That's the best thing about being like working night shift is like I'm gonna go out after work and have breakfast.
some. Yeah, it's true. As opposed to everyone else in the world that doesn't get breakfast when they wake up.
No, after they get home from work, go
Ah,
out
I see
after
what
work
you're
and
saying.
have breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Breakfast for
Oh.
Have
dinner is the best
after work.
breakfast.
Yeah, it's called
I used
Brinner,
to
and
work
it's
at
the
a-
best.
So good.
I used to work at a blood lab, spinning blood and samples when I was
Oh, yeah?
younger in college, and I used to do the night shift, and it was crazy.
That was dangerously
Are you-
close to involving
are
maple
you-
syrup.
Back
And
in
I
Blade
don't
was
like how that fit in.
Are
my
you
head.
messing with me, or are you?
No, not
serious?
at all. Not at all. I'm serious.
Really?
I have my degree's in biology. I actually started.
Hell
out in
yeah!
biology, and then I didn't like it, and I stopped.
Well,
and I started.
Joe, why didn't
But,
you not
yeah.
like it? Ugh.
I have a thing for centrifuges. That's my secret.
Centrifuge.
Centrifuge.
Well,
All
I
right.
like those at
Fugi.
carnivals. The centrifuge ride. That's fun.
Yeah, I used to spin
Best.
samples and all that stuff.
Centripetal force.
Well,
that's my
I'm gonna
apologies,
ask
it
you more
is.
questions about that when we're not in the middle of
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
play D&D.
Speaking of,
Oh yeah.
You walk across the dirt road towards the worthy journey. You know this to be one of the shops in town, if not the only shop in town. And you're on your way to question a certain person who is yet to show up. A Robert Thompson. The leader of this town has agreed to lend you the key so long as her daughter can accompany you. Because after all, a few of you are jerks. And as you arrive in front of the worthy journey, you see the daughter sort of kindly smiling to you, if not also to herself. There seems to be a bit of a wilder streak than in her mother, at least behind her eyes. She takes a hearty step forward and stretches out a dwarven arm and introduces herself as Nanduna Silverarm. And you can see immediately from her hands, they are well worked, just like her mother. Nanduna is about the same height as her mother. She has orange hair tied in a tight braid that carries down over her back and stretches over her shoulder. Her features are fair and her complexion light, despite the weathered skin that she has, implying that she's been working in the field. And she shakes whose hand?
Hello.
Nobody's.
A few of us are jerks.
She shakes Garrus's hand. Garrus, you should do the
Garrus.
shaking. I push him forward.
Absolutely. She grabs your hand and shakes it.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah.
No, we can hear you.
We're just deciding
Ignoring
still.
you.
Oh, okay.
We have to have a group consensus on you being the polite one.
Hello.
No, she shakes Garrus's hand. Yeah. And she nods and says, so you're looking to step inside the worthy journey? Sorry, what are your names?
I'm Brea. This is Sal, Kala, and Garrus, of course. How are you feeling? You seemed a little bit worse for the wear last night. Are you well rested?
Yes. Well, hasn't been much of a rest. She sort of gestures around to the town. Again, you can see there's already been a ton of work put up. The barn that had the door off its hinges has been put back on, and a wizened eye would see her as a skilled worker of some sort, though you're not sure which. But she nods and says, there's a lot of work to be done, although it's the nature of the place, truly. She kind of smiles wryly, an exhausted an exhausted feeling lingering on her voice.
Who
So you want to look at the word?
It was Brea and Garrus who were planning to stay here?
No, the Worthy Journey
No,
is
no.
like the general store.
It's the
Oh no,
shop.
I mean like in the land overall, because I think Kala was
Yes.
coming back at some point as well.
Brea's definitely planning to stay, but maybe not here.
Maybe
Yeah,
not with
same with Garrus.
you.
Are you staying? Because I don't know. Brea might go.
I don't want to stay if you're staying.
We'll see.
That's fair.
Yeah,
You're
so
just
again, just a quick reminder, Meduline Silverarm, Nanduna's mother, is the de facto leader of this town. She mentioned that she was the leader taking up arms after another dwarf, Thulmer, died. She is doing it because no one else really wants to, and everyone else seems to be a bit too selfish to want to lead others, is sort of what she implied. She's asked you to seek out and find information regarding exactly what happened at the temple. You know from different accounts that there was either one or two explosions, that there were remains, though you didn't look too much into them because you were kind of busy.
Getting murdered.
And you recently found out that the dynamite they borrowed and took came from the Worthy Journey. However, the owner of the Worthy Journey, a man named Robert Thompson, is currently missing. Presumed missing.
Missing.
So Nanduna, she's got a lot more vibrancy than her mother, a little bit more wry wit. She steps aside and sort of gestures to the front door, should you wish to open it. And again, I've given you all a list of names that you can happily write on and scribble over and cross out as you feel confident that people are no longer primary suspects.
So I have a question about that list, by the way.
Shoot.
Is that the list of people who were ever in this village, or is that the people who are remaining, or just people of interest?
These are the people that Meduline had assessed were not entirely dead but still active. And the reason I say that is because there are a few question marks. We don't know if Robert Davis, Tappert, or Amaziman are dead because they are no longer seen after the attack. But these are people that are presumed to be still alive in the city. The people that are on that list are 100% alive, and that's all.
Before we go in to the worthy journey, Brea is very familiar with the signs of your standard run-of-the-mill break and enter.
Yes.
She would like to investigate the doorways and the windows leading into this place before we go in to see if there are any signs of someone having forced entry to this place to get their hands on that sweet, sweet dynamite.
Okay.
Because if I don't see any, we can presume it was either taken during open hours, maybe it was bought, or perhaps someone who had a key to this place could have been responsible.
Okay.
Just want to start narrowing down our options here.
Yeah, so I would first like to tell everybody that's how you fucking play D&D.
What?
Second off, I want to give inspiration to that.
Thank you.
Because that's what you do. Listen, we can all dick around and say, here. This Brea is working on getting that money. And that's how you do it. Yes, girl. Give me a roll.
I accept your praise.
You know what? I am an admirer. If I was watching this stream and invested in the story, which presumably I hopefully would be, and a player was like, oh, I'd be like, yes, fucking A.
Thank you.
And I want to reward that to inspire everyone else to also be,
yeah, let's put on our little thinking caps. I rolled a 16.
Yeah.
Investigation, I presume, right?
Yeah. So Brea, holds up a hand. You move forward. You look around the lock to see if it was picked. You look around the windows. You look around the back door, and you get sort of two very clear answers.
All right.
Or two sort of pieces of information that will help understand. The first being that no one has picked these locks. The second being that this is a person who really prides themselves on their security. Somebody who went out of their way to ensure that no one stole from their store, which in your mind makes sense. I don't want to make any leaps and bounds, but you do know this is a frontier town, and frontier towns have a lot of people that are struggling.
Okay, good to know. She turns to her companions with the results of her observations. Doesn't look to me like anyone broke into this place, so... Yes. She looks over to Najuna.
Yeah.
Do you know who might have had access to this building apart from Robert Thompson? I understand that Aura Fieldlander was also an employee here. Would anyone else have had a key that you know of? Do you ever see anyone else working here?
Yeah, and she sort of looks a little impressed with you knowing that Aura Fieldlander worked here already. Clearly, she's not thinking much of you at this point. She's obviously familiar with your prowess in battle, but this is a very different sort of mindset. And she sort of takes a step back and says, oh, looky here. No, as far as I know, Aura Fieldlander was the only person who Robert employed, but I don't even think she had a key.
And we're able to get in now, right? We have, Nanjuna has a key.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Shall we enter?
I think so, but I think we should also remember that Najuna does have a key. She's not necessarily off the list of suspects.
Yeah, that's fair.
Najuna doesn't have a key.
So how are we getting in?
No.
Meduline
said, I'm going to have my daughter meet you there.
Oh.
Right.
With a key.
Whoa.
So she has a key.
But she has it now.
Meduline has the key.
The town key or
Presuming
whatever the
that
fuck.
Robert must have given the key to Meduline.
All right.
So can I ask then, because there's apparently more people alive in this village than I gave it credit for, which is great.
You gave the village credit for?
I mean, good job, village. I thought you were in worse shape than you were, so it's good. There is life. But as far as I swear to God, it's not meant to be mean.
Good job, village.
Congratulations on hanging in there. As far as people who work in this actual general store, how many people are left right now?
So from who you know, there is Cole, Gabrielle, Janice, Emmy.
No. She means who among the survivors work in the store?
Yes.
0, right? No one.
0.
Yeah, it's none
Correct.
of them.
Now, the reason why I'm wondering that is because, as Brant would have pointed out, nobody has broken in. But yet, if everybody is in these dire straits, and if everybody is in a situation where nobody even wanted to be a leader, I'm not really sure how long it's going to be before this unguarded store becomes a free supply cabinet. So that's interesting.
Sounds like might as well help ourselves first.
Is Meduline the main clergy person of the town?
No.
Is she? No. Okay.
There was one, though, and I believe they died.
You
Very
don't know
early.
what happened to them.
It was Osmond, wasn't it?
There, it was sort of implied. Yeah, Amuzaman, or whatever you fucking say it. What is it?
Omazun.
Yeah, Amazaman.
Okay.
In we go.
Let's go inside.
Yeah. Aduna opens the door for you. It swings open, and you are greeted to a nice, comfortable-looking shop. No different than many of the ones that you've seen back home, although it is fairly small, and the wood looks relatively new. As you enter, the floorboards creak softly beneath your heavy boots. You see the counter stretched out before you, where you could envision somebody standing behind it. To the right, there's a small open doorway without a door that you can pass into a back area that seems to have other items, perhaps. It's relatively dark in here, the only light coming from the large front window. And you do see that behind the counter is another open doorway with a tavern-like swinging half door that seems to reveal a back area as well.
I will head directly for the back room.
Okay, yeah. Sal sort of parts company from everyone else. As you all sort of settle in, you see that this is a fairly simple but lived-in building despite its newness. That could be just because of the amount of traffic it has. This does seem to be a catch-all. You see barrels and blankets, bottles and buckets and candles and crests and globes
Gadgets
and
and
tankards.
gizmos aplenty.
Yeah. There's a great variety of adventuring gear here, as well as some artisans' tools that seem to be placed on a shelf. But overall, it feels very homey and comfortable. There is a fireplace, obviously without a fire in it at the moment, and 2 comfortable chairs. And Juna walks over to one and sits down and puts her feet up for a moment and says, Robert was always insistent that a guest that would stay around shopping for a while is more likely to buy more of thus the comfy chairs. And she sits back and says, I charged them a great deal for them, so I'm not worried.
So, like, it looks like there was dynamite stolen from here. Is that right? That's what we think has happened?
We suspect that it might have been.
Dynamite was used by somebody to blow
Yes.
open holes in the church.
Correct. So, and again, I'll fill in a bit of the blanks so you're not doing needless investigating. Meduline had dynamite to close what was open down there. She had the key. Presumably, there was a conversation that took place previous to Meduline and crew going in to seal the tunnel, where she either asked Robert for his key so that she could take some dynamite from the store, or that Robert lent it to her, or whatever the case. He ended up leaving it with her and going off with somebody else. There's information here that actually was given to you at the beginning that Meduline's not privy to, that I think you guys might have forgotten, but we'll come back up as you do investigations anyway. But there are a few keys there. Regardless, this is most likely where the source of the first explosion or explosions originated from, at least the method of it.
So
Sal, yeah, you're in the back. You're in the back room. It's relatively small. You see a simple writing desk and a ladder that leads to the second story.
Yeah, there were two things that I wanted to do when I was here, and one was to see if there was a back entrance, but more specifically to see if I might find the owners or past family of this in maybe their rooms upstairs in various states of being alive. So that's what I'm looking for.
Brilliant. Yeah, so you come to the back room. You do see that there is a back door. It is similarly locked. However, it seems to also have a deadbolt on it. So you would wager that it would be impossible to enter through the back door. Bria, with a kinder eye, might be able to decipher more, but that's sort of your quick guess.
I think I would shout that over to Brea as I notice. There's a back door, and then just go on.
Cool. Again, in the back, there's a small office with a chair and a writing desk, a ledger open, various accounts and things like that. And then a ladder leading to the second story. Maybe you take a peek up and you see that this is basically a large bedroom. This is presumably where Robert would sleep. And as you crane your neck up to look over top of the bed, you do not see anybody in it.
Okay. Good.
So this place is deserted right now.
Deserted is strong, but yes.
Empty of humanoids.
Yeah. Deserted implies that they're like, I'm leaving here. I'm never coming back.
It's
which, if they did, would justify stealing a lot more. Put it that way. So, Garrus, Kala, Brea.
Yeah. Brea's got a couple different lines of inquiry marching around in her head. I've got an intelligence score of 12, so that merits at least a couple of inquiries.
For sure.
Primarily, I'm interested in whether there's like a ledger of receipt or sale that we can look into. So she's going to wander her way into the office and take a look at the desk. You said there's a ledger open on the desk.
Yeah.
Is that something that is going to track what is coming and going from the shop?
Yeah, why don't you give me a investigation roll?
Great.
See if you can make heads and tails of this human's handwriting.
14.
14? Yeah, you begin to peruse this, and you seem to be able to pull out some information. What about you, Kala, Garrus?
Garrus would like to check for... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I want to check for
Go to
trapdoors.
the other back room.
What?
What? Oh, no, I was being funny. I was saying,
I'm going to check for trapdoors. That's what I'm going to do.
Sorry. Where are you checking for trapdoors, my friend?
Full front room and maybe behind the register or whatever is the register.
Full frontal. Yeah, give me
Go
an
full
investigation.
That is going to be a 16.
Okay. Yeah, you take a curious eye around the floor in the front and behind the desk, and feel confident that you don't see anything.
Cool.
Kala?
I go to the back as well. I want to search.
Okay.
To see if I find anything interesting.
Yeah, give me a search. You enter the back, you see Bria poring over the ledger, you see Sal sort of peeking up to the bedroom upstairs.
Do an investigation.
Yeah.
13.
13, you don't see anything new that Brea and Sal haven't uncovered. You sort of notice the deadbolt again. Maybe you give it a test. Check it. Seems to be fastened from metal parts, not wood. Overall, it speaks of quality and secrecy, perhaps. The nature of the locks that Brea sort of communicated to you indicates that this person really doesn't want people breaking in. Brea, as you pore over the ledgers, what are you specifically looking for? Just the inventory?
I'm curious to see if there's any history of sale of dynamite to anyone who lives in the village within the past, I don't know, week or two, or I guess 10 day or two. And additionally, if there are any other sales that I might find suspicious.
Okay. And you rolled a 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to say with a 14, you don't find any bill of sale in terms of the dynamite, but you do find an inventory log. And you know that you were given a sort of a satchel. I don't know how you'd call it. Of I think about 4 sticks of dynamite. Presumably what they took from this shop. And you know that the inventory based on the ledger accounts for 7 total sticks of dynamite, leaving 3 unaccounted for.
Okay.
And sort of, again, adding this to maybe Kala having looked around front and maybe Garrus also, you ascertain that there's no more dynamite left in the store, at least none obvious. Giving you the impression that, yes, 3 is not accounted for. But you do see detailed notes of purchases and logs, but none of them insofar as speaking of the dynamite.
Okay, so that's great. So we've figured out that the dynamite was not gained by force, by like breaking into this shop, nor was it sold legitimately. So it was probably stolen while the shop was open, or else there was some other kinds of dark dealings.
Correct.
Which is fine. Brea runs a finger along the page thoughtfully as she looks around the office. And then she makes her way up to the bedroom, I guess, where Sal headed up first.
Yeah.
And she wants to take a look around to see if it would appear that Robert Thompson, who is now missing, left in a hurry without taking his belongings, or whether he packed to leave somewhere.
Sal, you're looking up there as well?
That's what I was going to do next. But honestly, if Brea is already going to be taking a closer look, I think if she mentioned at all, or she took a particular interest in the ledger, he might go down and try to get one step ahead and see if he can match the inventory to what's supposed to be on the shelf, just to see if he did pack, if there's anything else that's missing from the shelves.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Sal, you head back down and you do inventory as Brea sort of explains what she's going to be doing. Brea, you can give me a perception roll. Kala and Garrus. Garrus, you've fully searched the front. Kala, you feel confident about the back. What do you doing?
I have Inkfoot sniff a little bit.
Nice.
You know, just I let him loose, and he kind of goes around and starts sniffing everything. Does he get any interesting smells?
Yeah.
Keen
jumps out.
Hearing and smell, so I get advantage on a wisdom for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to roll. There's nothing majorly that jumps out. Not in terms of not
the other dynamite.
Yeah. Nothing in terms of like meat.
Actually,
Sal?
Actually, that actually is a really good point with that comment said. Maybe there are certain ingredients that from the store, when combined, could make up the other sticks of dynamite if we're only missing 3 as far as the books are concerned.
Not impossible. Garrus, what are you doing while Kala is having Inkfoot sniff?
What can we... Garrus is going to try to, not quietly, but stealthily make his way to the window so that if someone was outside the shop, they couldn't see me move towards the window, if you know what I'm saying. Basically, I want to look outside to see if anyone is taking interest in the fact that we're in this shop and we're strangers. You know.
That's a great point.
Very smart. Inspiration.
Around.
Inspiration for you, Gary. Brilliant move.
Huzzah. Yes, I mean, I take disadvantage on stealth, but I'm not trying to be quiet.
No,
like, dong, dong, dong.
I don't think you need to roll stealth. I think this is a smart maneuver. Give me a perception roll.
Ugh, sorry. 14.
Yeah, you cast an eye around town. There's a few people moving about, but no one seems to be interested in what you're doing.
Cool.
So, Brea, you take a cursory look around town, around the bedroom, which is town for Robert, I'm sure.
It's his own personal, private town.
It's his kingdom.
It's downtown. I guess it's uptown.
Dream town.
Yeah, and I think as you peruse, you sort of try to ascertain exactly what might have been taken in terms of if you packed.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a roll?
I rolled a 7.
7. Yeah, no, you can't piece together anything majorly revealing about the machinations of this person.
I just want to go through his things real quick.
You just do it. Do you actually search?
Yeah.
Where do you search?
I mean, every fantasy room has a wooden chest at the end of the
Yes,
bed
correct.
full of belongings. I go
Yeah.
through that.
You rifle
Standard.
through it. You find a pouch with 2d20 silver, which will be. I read it and didn't roll it. 2d20, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's
Oh,
like
not bad,
Schrodinger's
actually.
pouch. It could have any.
23 silver pieces.
Great, I take that.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Is that just for Brea?
I'm adding it to the
If
bag
he's
of
dead, he ain't
holding.
gonna miss it.
How many silver?
for-
Sorry, 23?
23.
Great. Put it in the bag.
Okay.
It's evidence. Wink.
Okay. All right. Ninduna, who's with you,
She's not up here.
No,
Was
she's
she-
not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she knows anything. I'm
Oh.
just saying, people know when stuff's missing. You don't know if this guy's dead yet.
Oh, I'm not going to rob him blind.
All right. She sort
Just
of
a little bit.
moves in her chair, and I just mention her to remind you. That's all. And Sal and Kala.
So I imagine Sal either has a ledger in hand entirely or relevant pages if they're loose, and is going by kind of hopefully not as tediously as someone else who's not used to inventory, and is just going to check what's missing, what should be missing because it was sold, what do the notes say, what's delayed, what needs to be shipped, just to see if there's actually somebody who might have come by and helped themselves, or if maybe Robert himself helped himself, depending on if Brea found anything about him packing to leave. But
Yeah, great question. You poke around and you don't find anything seemingly out of place
okay,
in terms of that, other than the dynamite, obviously, which at least you understand half of it.
all right, that's very, very specific, and at least that would say that whoever got in here and took whatever really wanted to focus on the temple and didn't seem to have an interest in the town itself. That could be good. It might mean that there's no more danger outside of the temple. And if it comes to a situation where people get in that much trouble, they could all just leave.
It's true. Just go live on the land.
Go live
Start
on
a
there.
new colony.
Go to the other creepy cabin. Live over there.
Perfect.
Where does the dynamite come from?
It
who makes
seems
it?
like from the ledger it was brought over. Like it's not made in town.
From the
Yeah.
ocean? Like it was brought over.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I was thinking
I
every
meant
single
from the
time new
ocean.
people come over, the ships
No, I
and
mean, like,
stuff.
The dynamite
Brought
ways.
over from
Aquatic
the
dynamite.
mainland from where we are, or was it
Correct.
okay?
Yeah, it seems like it was brought over from the mainland. In fact, a lot of this stuff was brought over from the mainland. You know that there's no glass makers here. There's nothing like that. So things are pretty few and far between when it comes to that stuff. Wood seems to be abundant. Obviously, a lot of these barrels seem like they're made fresh, and some of the pictures and stuff are carved from wood. But all the glass and metal pieces seem to be imported, as it were.
I have to
Do they have any jerky?
Of course, they have jerky. It's the best.
Right. Kala finds a jar. Takes out a few strips, takes out a coin, puts it on the counter, and just feeds Inkfoot.
Is
Yeah,
Ninduna
and
a
I think-
paladin?
I think Ninduna raises an eye at you curiously.
Garrison
You should
is,
pay for it, and suddenly just seems more interested in watching you now. Because
I watch her as she watches me. I
yeah,
just watch her while I am.
Oh, that is very bold.
and she watches you back.
Yeah, we just watch each other.
I
And I go, how does one come about the name Ninduna?
My mother gave it to me.
Why?
Suppose she liked the sound of it. How does one come across the name Kala? Was it?
I am named after the wind.
You mean wind? Shouldn't your name be Wind then?
In my language, in Parfin.
It's a long pause.
Please tell me that pause
We're
is
having
in
an
character.
awkward conversation. I
Yeah,
like
in
the awkward
character.
conversation.
Just decides to eat the jerky.
Punctuated by the sound of dog chewing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, yeah. Totally.
So yeah, you guys feel pretty confident that you got most of the story here.
Cool. Did Garrus get any vibes from the window? I was really curious to see if anyone's
no,
like.
no one seems
think
to
so.
seem to.
No.
The only
Do we
other-
know if anybody would like? I mean, does anybody have something against the church, like the temple? Like we could start
Good
following
question.
down
People?
Leeds traditional
We could
way.
ask.
Are you
Let's
asking?
figure
That's
that
what I
out
was going
if
to
we
say. The
can.
only other thing that's interesting in here is Naduna. Like,
Right.
I want to know what she knows about shit.
Absolutely. You gonna ask her?
Go
We all
for
just
it, Colin.
congregate into the front room.
So we all sit down on the comfy chairs together.
Oh yeah.
We have some questions for you.
Yeah, and then Duna's like, all right.
What? So when was the last time that you saw Robert Thompson?
Well, after the explosions at the temple, everyone came out to the streets to see. And then those things came out. Battle started. Those of us who were willing and able to fight did our best. But eventually we fell back to the outskirts of the city, of the town, where there's some tents and a campfire from the south road.
Yes.
After a while, Mum said that we needed to seal the temple. Asked if there was a way to do it. Robert seemed standoffish, but someone reminded him that he had dynamite in his shop. He begrudgingly gave Mum the key. They came to his shop, supposedly. I was on the outskirts still. Took a few sticks of dynamite, and last I saw, Robert was on the outskirts of the city with Emmy and them. But when I came back out earlier, Emmy said that Robert and I believe it was who? She mentioned it when you first arrived in town, but I can't remember now. She mentioned that Lawrence and Robert both went to get to one of the outposts for help, but they're not back yet. So I don't know if Mum knew that, actually. Anyway, we went in, and the fighting was tough. I'm not a fighter by trade like Mum used to be. I'm a woodworker. That's why I said I built this shed. I have the shop on the end. When you walk in, you killed a few of those creatures out front of it, actually. But
Sorry if there was any damage. I don't recall.
I'm not concerned. It can be fixed.
Fair. You said that Robert seemed hesitant.
Yeah, well, he's always been a bit of a tight ass. I suppose he didn't want to lose any product without cost. But when Mum showed him the alternative would be losing his shop entirely, I think he took the hook.
Then he was willing to fight.
Oh no, Robert was not willing to fight. Robert
Was
is
he
many
able?
things, but he's not a fighter.
You said he went with Lawrence Ellis.
Emmy said that he and Lawrence went to the outpost.
But Lawrence isn't marked as missing, right?
Lawrence, I don't know.
He's
No, Lawrence is
not
here.
on the list.
Lawrence Ellis.
Is on the list as being present.
Correct.
So maybe we should go speak with Lawrence and see what happened.
Sounds like a good
I
idea.
suppose it's up to you.
Have you seen Lawrence since?
I've been keeping my head down, honestly.
Were you at the funeral earlier?
Yes, I was.
And you didn't see him there?
And he might have been, yes.
I understand that it must have been a very difficult time.
For many reasons. We lost 7 people last night. Some of them were my good friends.
Well, I'm sorry for that, and we are trying to do all we can to help. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to look around in here. I think we have everything we need. She looks at her companions.
Brilliant. And she stands up, gestures to the door, and exits. And as you all head back outside to the hot morning sun, she locks the door.
Did we leave anything for the jerky?
Yes.
Kala
Kala.
left a
Okay.
coin.
Yeah, Kyle put
Okay.
a coin down.
Kala left
Alright.
the coins.
Yeah.
It was just a.
It was 2 copper.
It was an interesting way to do it. You steal from this place too, so that will come back to. Might come back to bite.
No, it won't.
Who would know?
Nobody.
There's no
We
way
would
someone would
know.
know that you took their money from their stock drawer, and there's no way they could trace it back to you.
Or
It's like,
prove it.
Unfortunately, you would know, Harlan. So I don't trust it.
Where did you get that new jingly
I'm being
bag?
facetious because it's everyone would know. Not only does the owner of the town or the leader of the town and her daughter know that you were here, the daughter was here, and you were the only people in the shop.
And I just did inventory.
People misplace it all the time.
100%.
They can't prove anything.
100%. People misplace shit all the time.
They misplaced Robert, so
I'm innocent.
That's true.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about what these town people think. Don't worry about that.
Give the shit about them.
Whatever. If it comes back and it's gonna bite us, then we
23
can just,
silver
you know,
was
just-
totally worth it. It was 100% worth it.
No one else knows. So if
That's
it's
true.
likely,
You
it's going to
haven't
be
told
on my
us.
shoulders.
It's true.
Moving right along.
Do, 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 do.
I have a
Anyways,
question about the
Nanduna
church,
sort of
about the temple.
Yeah. So Nanduna
Was,
sort of
was it? Oh, sorry.
nods and excuses herself, assuming you don't need her anymore. She's just gonna
Okay.
I'll be at my shop if you need.
We could
anything.
ask her where Lawrence usually hangs out.
Absolutely, you can ask this person anything, and I encourage you to. She'll leave if she's not needed. Is all.
I just
I'll ask
wanted
after
to.
Ahmed's thing.
Sorry.
Do something separate. So if you want to ask, I guess I'm just gonna. I was asking about the church. Was it blown out or in?
It was out.
It was blown
right?
out.
It was blown out, and the hole downstairs that was blown in.
Correct.
Okay.
I had a question about the church as well. And that was just to check that it was originally ancient times a dwarven church.
Correct.
Okay, and the previous leader was also a dwarf.
Oh, correct. Yes. Of this
Okay.
town.
All right, I'm not trying to base anything on any race.
Just answer.
Sal's
Just saying.
doing like
Dwarves like to
conspiracy
dig.
theory.
Dwarf
yarn
conspiracy
in her head.
theory.
He's getting a
where
little
you
mental
hiding it?
cork board and little red pins.
Well, what do you guys think?
I think Meduline had a key.
She. Sal is a conspiracy theorist. She's the one who asked us to find out what happened.
I would love to see the scene of that. You
Walk
just
back
like,
in.
you're right, it was me. I blew open the town because and Sal like says because of the reason. Yeah, because of that reason, it was a good enough motivation for me.
Because she's tired of being the leader.
I don't want to be the leader. I want all the money. And the money would have been right. That's right, Sal. It would have been there.
Well, actually, I am.
Occam's razor. But that how? but the
Thank
funny-
you.
No. Hold on. But that's not the simplest explanation. Occam's razor is legit, but that's not the simplest explanation. The simplest explanation would have been the things in the basement had their own dynamite or something stupid like that. Like that's Occam's razor. This would be a very convoluted version of Occam's razor.
Well,
Regardless, where do you want to go next?
Wherever Lawrence Ellis would usually be.
Yeah,
yes.
let's talk to Lawrence.
Brilliant.
Sorry, who's the name of the person who had the tongue removed?
That's Tilter Durgis.
Okay.
Correct. So you have a town map. The Ellis home is only a few stops. You just got to hop, skip, jump over the barracks, really.
Yeah, we jump over the barracks,
Literally.
climb right up and over. There's only one soldier left, right? Gabrielle Clark.
Correct.
So that's going to be a pretty empty barracks. Maybe that's
Yeah.
where Sal wants to bunk up.
She's Sal.
Yeah.
She's sad. She's Sal sad.
She's so sad.
She's so sad.
Does Janice? Who's Janice Clark? Emmy Clark, we know, is the child of Gabrielle.
Correct.
Janice, is that Gabrielle's partner?
Yeah, that's her
Okay,
wife.
great.
She
Do
was the
they
one we
also
met in
live
the basement.
barracks?
No, Gabrielle was the one you met in the
Okay.
basement.
Do we know that? Do they also live in the barracks?
No, there's a Clark household.
Okay.
You do know from Meduline speaking that this town was like set up with 50 people too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very possible that, well, you know for a fact some of these buildings are empty now, purely based on just the number of people that, like she told you. I put them on the map already. Like you can see there's the Uli home and the Kyver home, both which no longer have any Uli or Kyver in the city. In fact, they died like just last night. So
sad.
That's where
so sad. I don't even give a shit.
All right, what's
Comfy.
next, guys?
I would like to speak to this Lord. Sorry, I keep forgetting the name. The Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Thank you.
Laurent.
Laurent.
Laurent
The Saint
Ellis.
Laurent
Laurent
River.
Elie.
Yeah, so you knock on the door of the Ellis household. A few moments pass and the door opens and you're greeted with the familiar face of a dragonborn that you saw standing on the tower that was overlooking. This is Jess Ellis, she introduces herself as. A large, gorgeous blue dragonborn.
Hello.
She's married, okay?
Oh yeah. Forgot.
Classless. He sort of nods at you curiously and scans between. You see beyond the house branching off behind her. It has a very different build than the Worthy Journey or even Meduline's house. And you're starting to understand that a certain amount of flavor was put into these homes because they were built for the people who are now occupying them. She asks kindly, "Is there something I can help you with?"
Is Lawrence around?
Yes.
May
Can we speak with him?
Sure. Would you like to come in?
Yes, thank you.
And she steps back and you enter and you see that this is a very open concept house. There's almost no floor plan at all. It makes it feel almost open to the elements, the way that the large windows sort of reflect the outside. There's a lot of furs hanging on the walls, a lot of weapons that some ornate, some used and broken. And by the way Jess carries herself as she enters the room and the way you saw her holding the crossbow, you get the impression that she is not unfamiliar with combat of some sort. She heads up the stairs, the wide stairs built for dragonborn claws. And a few moments later, Lawrence comes down. He is a intimidating looking dragonborn, copper colored, sort of a faded orange yellow tint. And he looks maybe a little bit older than her as well, too. Although you can never tell with dragonborns. They're ageless. Which I think is probably true. I feel like whether you're like a 20-year-old dragonborn or like 120 years old, I feel like it'd be really tough because the way the scales sort of like hide the
Dragonborn, don't crack corn.
Maybe their eyes just get like a little bit cloudy.
Inspiration. Because of that dumb joke.
Stupid joke.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
And he comes down and he sort of sits opposite the dining room table and like gestures with his claw.
Lovely house you have here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
You'll have to pardon the intrusion. We were asked by Meduline to try to locate some of the missing members of your community. And we heard that you went with Robert Thompson out to the outposts.
Or
for
like
help.
he came with me, or tried to.
Tell us
Did
more.
Yeah.
When the town started to get overrun, Meduline brought a team into the temple with her. I volunteered, but she was worried about people attacking the town for good reason. So my wife and I stayed. We're hunters, you see. And he gestures to, like, again, the walls, which are draped in furs. Provide a great deal of meat
for those sick of rabbit. But primarily we keep to ourselves. I decided after a short while it might be worthwhile to try to get to one of the outposts. Not the ones that we are affiliated with, but the ones run by the lions.
And the name strikes a chord with you.
Yeah, do we know lions?
Yes, we do. These are the Lion's Head.
Correct.
They're not particularly friendly to our town, but in a situation that might warrant it, I knew they would be better than dying. So I volunteered to head there swiftly on my own. Robert tried to tag along. He couldn't keep up exactly, and when he was holding me back, I ditched him around the abandoned windmill to the north. When I came back, I found that he wasn't here. Good riddance as far as I'm concerned.
But Robert doesn't sound like someone who would normally join those kinds of runs. Why was he there?
No. I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't particularly like dealing with him. Anytime I need to, he gouges the prices. Probably because we're dragonborn.
Oh, does he have issues with other races?
He's a human. He has issues with all races, other than his own.
I hear that. And then the four of us all look at each other like, "Fuck."
We're all very aware.
Maybe we go find him and sort him out.
What's that?
How far away is the windmill you left him at?
It's just outside of town. But it's fairly dangerous. It's been overrun for a number of years, last I checked.
By what?
I don't know. There's nothing I need in it.
We're about to find it overrunning corpses, aren't we?
I don't know, but if Robert was wise, he wouldn't have head there.
Well, if we're looking for a scent, it's probably the first place we'd go. Or tracks or blood or whatever it is they leave behind.
Why are you looking for Robert?
Because he's missing. Meduline asked us
Suspiciously.
to find the people in this community who are not accounted for. And she shoots Sal kind of a glance.
Give me a deception.
All right. As it turns out, I'm awful at deception.
You're great
Wink,
at it.
Wink. That was my deception. How do you like a 23?
Yeah, he buys it.
Ooh.
He's like,
I don't want people to know that we're looking into this thing and suspecting the other people in the village, because if the saboteurs know that we're looking for the saboteur, then they're going to be extra sabba
Saboteury.
sneaky.
I don't know. I
You don't
trust
want
the Dragonborn. Like he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't mean he's not going to chat.
it's true.
That is, but he says he keeps.
Either
to
way,
himself.
he buys it. He buys it 100%.
Okay.
Cool.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair. We're okay.
Anything else I can help you with then?
I would like to look at the furs to see what else lives in the area.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah, good thinking.
That's a cool idea.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Go stand up and take a look.
Yeah. Could he give me, if he's got time for it, interested in,
Like
could he
a
give me
little-
like a tour of what is alive in this area?
If he's interested, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Walk up and see if you can figure it out on your own first.
I walk up and I point. What's the first one that's closest to me
It's
that
sort
I don't
of like,
recognize?
yeah, it's sort of got these sickly, thin, almost rubbery hairs all over it, and it's sort of a faded dark green. Give me a roll,
Of what other than horror?
like a animal or knowledge
Nature.
or history or nature. Thank you. That's the
Nature.
word.
Okay. That is a 1. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Mysterious.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I ain't even trying to guess.
You can still ask
It's
him.
dead. That's what I can pick up. I will ask him if he or if anyone else wants to take a gander.
How do you ask him? I want to hear you role play.
Well, I think I'll go back to him and say, I don't know how long you've lived in this area, but I've been here for days. I've never seen anything like that before. What is it? How did it die?
Yeah, give me a persuasion roll with advantage.
Why do you make me do these?
Because it's a game.
Oh! I got an 18!
Hey, see?
We're talking. We're industry people.
Industry people. Yeah, he sort of tries to hide a wry smile.
Oh, he's proud of it.
Yeah, he is. I mean, these are people that are almost like, they live off the land. So they're really proud of what they can do. They're homesteaders, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, Kala takes interest in the conversation, and she goes right up to it and starts like sniffing it and feeling it. And I also roll nature.
Okay.
And I got a 19.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, then I'll let you choose whether you want to take the words out of his mouth or not.
Could you wait just to see if he?
Oh no, I don't want to
doesn't
take the
say
words out of his
thing?
mouth.
Okay.
I don't want to
was
take the
going to
words
give you
out
the
of his
option.
mouth.
So
No, I just wanted to know. That's all.
yeah,
Curious.
and he says he comes back
Rubbery
and says,
green.
That's a closet.
A qualid? A quasid?
A closet.
Quasit.
A
Sounds
creature.
past tense.
Demon.
There's a large one, too. 4 feet high. Green skin, the warts and pustules blooming on it. Its tail's covered in barbs, nearly split my skin. The horns, those were a fine prize.
and he gestures over to the corner, and you see there's like these horns mounted as well, like the other part of the closet. He's like,
But that's not my most impressive.
and he stands up and he walks over to like behind the door, and you see there's this like bizarre looking small creature mounted.
And he's like, Not for its deadliness, but for its trickery. I killed this homunculus with only a spear.
And he points, and you see this like small winged creature that almost looks like a cross between a turtle and like a bat.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, but these are like
So many
What?
questions.
Like sentient.
none of these are like really that tough anyway, right? Like this
No,
is
he's
like-
not. He's not trying
Yeah.
to prove his prowess. He's telling you about what kind of creatures are here.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's like he caught exotic creatures. Like
Everyone
but
start
also-
taking notes.
Killing a small creature with a spear isn't about like the damage you do, but the finesse you do it with. He's trying to say that it was like he sniped a bat with a spear. You know what I
Is
mean?
there
Rather
like a
than
hole in through this, or was it meticulously stitched shut, or like I guess
meticulously
plastered
stitched-
shut?
How
stitched
good
shut.
is the taxidermy?
Yeah.
Is it correctly
Is
stuffed?
it like frozen in a really awkward position?
Yeah, its eyes are like real fake. It's
Yeah.
got like those really weird fucking bulging eyes.
I
Like
mean,
flipping everyone off.
I feel like it's depending on how much time people are willing to let Sal and hopefully also Kala have, because I would like to learn as much as possible about these, especially if I forget his name, Lawrence says something about trickery, because the last thing I want to do is walk into these wilderness and find something that's considered tricky.
We got time. I think if Sal and Kala want to have a conversation with this Dragonborn, Brea actually wants to pick Garrus's brain a little bit, just have a personal conversation. So if you guys are off talking, like,
I'll tell you
having
this:
fun.
you don't get the impression
Cryptozoology.
that this guy is like super excited to talk for a long time. He seems like a homesteader, like he's more used to his own private time. And it's sort of already waning on him as he sees your reactions to being less than impressed. He's like, anyway, he walks over.
Sal's impressed.
Yeah,
Kala's not.
Cal is not.
Oh,
So he's like,
Kala.
Anyway, is there anything else I can help you with?
Can we continue to look through the furs and stuff at least to see if we can see anything that looks like?
yeah, but
particularly-
it's not going to give you any more advantageous information about the environment. Because I want you
okay.
guys to uncover that on your own.
Nah, never mind. If he's talked out, I won't push him because I like this guy. He seems nice.
Yeah.
I've already pissed off one important person. I don't need to get making my way through the list.
Yeah.
Your way through the town.
So did you want to ask him anything else?
Garrus
No.
would like. Oh, sorry. You go ahead there.
Go right ahead.
Garrus, go. You
Garrus
haven't talked
first.
enough.
He would like to ask, like, so you volunteered to go into the temple with Meduline, and she said no.
She thought my skills would be better protecting the people.
How did you feel about that? I've often been denied missions by my commanding officer and felt pretty miffed about it.
Miffed would be a word, yes. I understood her motivations, and at the end of the day, Meduline is the only person that truly cares about this town, whether it lives or dies, so I respect her.
I mean, that's all you can ask from the superior officer, eh? At least they
Unlike
care.
many
At least they
people
give a
who
shit.
don't respect her.
Who doesn't?
There are many people that didn't respect Meduline.
Hopefully they do now. Or is that not the case?
She seems so capable.
I don't know. Few of them I haven't seen since the event.
Like whom?
We have a list.
Are you looking for Robert purely because you want to know where he is?
Can I roll insight?
Yeah.
I want to know if he's actually like on the side that he says he is, you know?
Sure.
Could I also roll insight only because Freya had specifically talked over me to prevent
Bullshit.
me from saying anything?
Sure.
Okay.
A catty insight.
Because I know.
You talked
just
over me.
be aware. No, because I feel like they're triggered. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I don't even have a
How would
13,
you roll?
but
13 and...
Natural one.
Oh, no.
I still don't trust him.
Yeah, you don't trust him. You get a shady as shit vibe. Sal, the vibe you get is he's inquisitive.
I mean, she did ask us to, like, look into stuff. We could... Are we technically lying if we say, like, oh, we're looking for the missing people, sure. Because some of them
No,
could be
you're not lying.
suspects.
Yeah, you're not lying at all.
He might be able to give us some extra information, though, if we let him know that we're trying to hunt.
This is the gamble.
He did say that there is a cross section, like there's a correlation, rather, Venn diagram of people that did not like her and people that are missing.
Yes.
He said a lot of the same people that are missing were the same people that didn't like her, so that brings her back to actually being a suspect.
I'm very suspicious. The
And
fact
so-
that he did not bring this
Now the
dragonborn,
key
but did bring
and
the orc,
this.
I'm very suspicious. I'm sorry.
No,
But I
it's
do
okay.
also think that this guy, if he keeps to himself, he's been pretty forthcoming with what we've asked for so far. And honestly, he doesn't seem to have a reason to want to protect Robert and does have a reason to be on Meduline's side. I don't see the harm in kind of sharing a bit more. I won't be the one to do
tasty
it.
lead. He gave us a tasty lead already. We could run that down before we can talk to him later. That
Ooh, I
windmill,
like
you
that.
can
Run
check it
that
out.
down. Good word, Ahmed. Inspiration.
Oh, that's what I got it for.
It's a classy noir
Fine.
kind of.
Good. We got to run that down, and that's one of my favorite like tropes. You know.
Right on. But
I'm just gonna
I feel
piece it
like
together in my head. Because if he is on Meduline's side and she's on the up and up, and Meduline trusts him, then she's probably going to let him know eventually that we're helping her out in this capacity. If he's pretending to be on Meduline's side, he would not have really let us know that people who disrespect Meduline are also missing, because he wouldn't really care. That wouldn't be something that he's interested in divulging to us. If he's on Meduline's side and Meduline is not on the up and up,
She still won't be hearing
Okay.
anything she doesn't already know.
yeah.
I don't
I don't
see
think there's
anything
really
we
any
gain.
harm.
Yeah, by not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of that scene in Community where Chang's like, I had to think fast. He doesn't. He's just like, so what are you doing here? I had to think fast. Nothing. It's like, like, you have to think fast. And there's like this meta conversation in your head. He's just standing there like,
It's been a minute now and you've said nothing.
The way I would see it happening, given all that, is that Sal getting his role and kind of knowing how Brea had handled the situation before, probably look, kind of give her another glance back and kind of at the other end of the scale saying, seems fine.
Yeah, Bray just rolls her eyes.
And they fall out of her head.
Yep. Do it.
I would say then that. Oh goodness! Why did you put me on the spot?
I want Sal to just completely flub this. You did it! You did it! Gil, accused!
Wouldn't be the first time.
Too much pressure.
Roll initiative.
No, she tries to intimidate him into telling her why he left Robert behind or something.
So what are you doing?
God.
Tell, ask him or whatever you're saying.
I feel like he'd just be telling Lawrence about this. I don't think he'd be too concerned, but I think he'd keep it short and just say, "Well, we're looking for Robert for broader reasons, but we're looking for a lot of people."
You don't really tell him anything.
I mean, I don't know how else he's not. What
are the broader reasons?
He's not a big talky person. Suspicious reasons.
Suspicious of what?
And with that, he turns to the others in his party, hoping that they can be a little bit more coherent than he.
Bray goes, "You've told him this much, you may as well."
Oh, well, he'll take that happily. I think Sal would probably then start running through the entire scenario. He's got the list of people that they're looking for. They've already gone to look. They started to look for Robert. And they've already been to the shop and haven't found him.
I love that your line is like, tell him nothing or tell him everything.
Starting from the beginning.
Everything.
When I was 4, I slipped and fell.
My item.
Bray holds up the hand and
My
she's like,
itemized.
"We want to know whether the people that disrespect Megeline are also the same people who are missing. Who disrespects Megeline?"
Lathander's light you people beat around the bush.
That's right.
And he's like,
Ah. So this has to do with the explosion. Yes, I thought so much myself. Something seemed off. When I was with Robert, he didn't say anything, but acted off. I think you're right in questioning him. But, I think your interest lies more in Davis.
Oh, do we know that name?
Davis Straught, who I do not have any notes on yet. All I know is Davis is odd.
Yes.
Tell us more about Davis.
I know very little about him, other than I got a bad feeling. And Cole got a bad feeling about him as well.
Yeah, Cole knows about Davis, who is
Yeah, I have
odd.
ask Cole as a note for Davis.
Yeah.
We should have Sal ask Cole.
Guys,
Oh, don't. Cole hates you. You're apparently a real asshole.
We're trouble.
has
Foster
word
and
gotten
Phil.
around about that, actually?
no.
I
No,
wouldn't be surprised.
barkeepers don't talk to anybody about
No, but
interpersonal
it's
stuff.
been like 15 minutes in the world.
Cole just at the windows. Hey, everybody! I hate this guy! Alright, Cole.
Who else have you heard to disrespect Megeline?
Disrespecting her. Well, let's see. Avar wasn't the biggest fan when he arrived, but that's his own issue, I think. Tapper doesn't seem to have much interest in anything. An odd fellow, that. Well, let's see. Millie and Lewis always seemed a bit uncomfortable with the fact that she took over from Tulmer. I don't know why. The rest of them are dead now, I suppose.
Yeah, everyone else. Okay.
Magdi. He was good.
Oh.
Rock and roll.
What?
Anyone else have-
Rockin' what?
It's a spell. I'm casting a spell.
A spell! Ah!
Does anyone have anything else they want to say?
I feel like he's given us a lot of information, and I'd feel bad taking up more of
Yeah,
his
he's a
time.
chill dude.
All right, we
A
give
lot
him
of
high.
these people are, if you give them the
Oh,
We give him a high five.
This guy a chance.
Yeah, he
Give
doesn't.
him
He
a,
doesn't.
give him a high
Have a
five.
drink later. Anywhere that's not where Cole owns.
I don't really go in the bar much, so.
Oh, good. Neither do I anymore. I can't.
I'll stay at your house.
No, thank you.
And he leads you to the front door, and he shuts it behind you.
Thank
and
you
you're
for your
standing
time.
out.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I liked him.
No, you're standing out on the street.
All right.
He was not a very proficient hunter.
Yeah, those were kind of small skins. I mean, they're not rabbits for sure, but
So where do you guys want to go next? Where are we going?
Should we
Yes,
try go to the
or-
windmill thing?
I'd like to go
We
to
can
the
split
window.
up.
I
Run the
mean, of
place.
course I want to go to the windmill. You can't say abandoned windmill where people disappear that's overrun by monsters and not have an adventuring party want to
Oh,
go.
thank
there.
goodness. Okay, I want to go to the windmill.
This
The
sounds
only
awesome.
question that I have for our party is at some point we had found and dragged out a petrified dwarf.
Yes.
Any plans for that?
Yes. I feel like we probably entrusted it to Memegeline for now.
Yeah.
What's
It's
gonna
still down
take to
Oh, we left it down there?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you didn't drag it out because you didn't deal with it yet.
Cool.
Well, what? I mean, it's just got to be like
Just
magically
staying there.
unpetrified, right?
Yeah, we need to find a way to be unpetrified.
It's in an
No,
accessible
that
location,
sounds
though. We
cool.
didn't just leave
Yeah,
it behind the
yeah,
other side of the
yeah.
wall. Okay.
I mean, you think you did a good job at sealing the tunnel, so as far as you know, the temple's safe.
We could ask Meduline if she could unparalyze him, unpetrify him.
It's
She's a
pretty
cleric.
intense magic.
He'd also have to. It would also have to be made undead. I mean, alive.
No,
again
no,
in some
they could.
capacity.
No. Petrification can.
It's like
They're
stasis.
just frozen.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just
oh,
stuck.
like that. Oh, not
You-
fossilized.
You can
Okay.
come back like thousands of
Cryosleep.
years later. And
Wait
wake
a
up like,
minute.
oh shit!
Yeah.
May I then just ask again? Was the former leader a dwarf?
Correct.
So the dude down there is the leader.
No, the
That's what I'm
former
thinking.
leader,
Sure.
like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah. Oh,
who died or whatever, 3 months ago or whatever.
he could
But
have
I think
snuck
that's
in
where she
there
was going.
and at some point and got sucked in at some point. I don't know. There could be
He's
another
wearing
entrance.
ancient armor, so he would have
Yeah,
had to
he's
have
been
found
doing that.
ancient armor,
They
put it on,
decorated
and
him.
then run.
Well, also there was he
Oh,
was
we're
aligned
fancy.
with that room that we found, right? Like he was from
Yeah.
that generation.
All right.
Um, so like big story wise, that's the thing I'm most interested in. But we're gonna have to wait until we have a really powerful cleric or some potion to be able to
Gotta get that posh.
like greater restoration, I think.
Mhm.
So until that time, we gotta kind of put a pin in him and just leave him alone.
Well, can't put a
Do
pin in
we
him if he's
want-
petrified. Oh, it'll bend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do we
What's the
want
furbolg's
to buy
Thank
anything
you.
before we go to the windmill? Do we need more gear?
Do we
If you want to go to
rest?
the windmill, you need to rest. I let you
Yeah.
level up because I thought it'd be fun to use the spells, but your hit points have not recovered
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
since that last
I
battle.
will rest.
So you'll need a full 8 hours.
Okay. So we can have some more chats with other
Does-
people in the meantime.
That
Or
also
I mean, sorry, I
means-
should say this: you can go to the windmill without a full rest.
I
I
don't,
wouldn't,
Yeah.
but you can.
I don't want to.
I mean, overrun sounds.
Yeah, I want to stress that information might be a smart way to give you an idea of why you'll need a rest at least.
Mhm.
That's fair.
What is the furbolg's name? The healer furbolg person?
Reese.
Reese.
That's the male,
Bartlett.
right? And
Oh,
so the
yeah.
female is Nora.
Yeah.
What's his face? Garrus will suggest if we want to talk about making a potion to unpetrify that dwarf, we could ask him.
Posh.
Get that
Yeah.
posh.
Yeah. So where do you guys go?
It's actually probably his order of events and those reactions too. Let's either go talk to one of the people who are also very suspicious, or go find a place to sleep and sleep.
We could talk to Avar Gardner. Meduline doesn't trust him, and he's also disrespectful to Meduline. So we'll have to be a little bit more careful socially.
He's a bard, isn't he?
We can also go and speak some more with Cole, right? Talk to him about
Davis.
Davis.
Well, if you're going to be staying over with Cole, I guess you can wait until you're there and then speak with him about that when you're there.
I also think of the people who would know more about the threats around the city, Gabrielle probably is a good person to talk to about the windmill because she was a soldier, so she would probably have done patrols of the area at least, right?
It's good thinking. I like that a lot, and I would actually vote for that one.
So let's go see where Gabrielle's at.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spend a few minutes walking around town. You see people sort of moving about, bustling about. You don't catch an eye of Gabrielle, at least out in the open. You head to her home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You knock, and a familiar face greets you at the door, that of young
Emmy!
Emmy.
I mean,
And she's very cheerful and says, "Oh, hi. Can I help you?"
Hi, Emmy. How are you?
Good.
I'm
I mean,
glad.
good as can be, but good.
Is your mom home, Gabrielle?
Oh, no, she's putting out fires, or so she said, around town somewhere.
Actual fire? Or
I don't ask.
Literal, metaphorical.
emotional?
No, I think she's pretty busy today. If you want, you can come back tonight, or maybe talk to her at the bar later. That's usually where we go for dinner. But
Okay.
That sounds nice. All right. Have a great day.
okay, is there anything I can help you with?
Yes! Why don't we ask Emmy? She's been running around this place. She's probably gone places you're not supposed to be allowed
pretty
to go.
mature for her age.
Yeah,
Full on
Found
recruited
us.
us.
Pretty cool.
she's pretty cool.
So, stop leaving it to Sal. Jesus. So
Well,
Sal,
pretty bad. I want.
It was your question.
Like, I want Erica to speak, but I don't want necessarily Sal to speak.
you don't want Sal to speak. Sal's gonna try his best, and you guys can jump in and let him know if he's not phrasing things correctly. But I feel like Sal would say, "Emmy, you've lived in this land for most of your life, if not all of it.
Okay.
Good, we're making progress. This is a child, and I can speak to those. the windmill.
Just like start off with a statement.
You're
Done this probably.
half elf, aren't you?
You get it.
Good for you.
You're
With little
alive.
ones. the windmill. Do you know anything about it? Anything around it?
Oh,
What it is?
I know that Mom says I can't go there no matter what. Apparently, there's some real bad stuff that happened there. It used to be part of the town. Actually, I think it was part of the original. I think it's dwarven.
Oh, whoa!
Have you ever seen it?
Well, not really. I mean, I've definitely gone close once or twice, but the sound drew me away.
What kind of sound?
I don't really know how to explain it. Sort of like I don't know, a moaning maybe?
Does everyone
Can
in the
you,
town stay
can you
away?
imitate it for me?
I'd rather not.
Are you scared?
Yeah, sure.
That sounds good.
Barry's just gonna start making fun of this kid. No, I'm kidding.
I don't want to help you anymore.
I'm kidding.
Bye.
But Garrus acts something too, though, right? I saw your mouth
Oh
move.
yeah. I was just gonna say, does everyone in the town stay away, or do some people go and come back?
Oh, no one goes there. There's nothing they need right now.
I feel like Emmy wouldn't be able to be more specific than that. I'd be shocked. But can I check to see, like maybe do an insight roll to see if this is the most she can actually explain things, or if this is the most she's allowed to say?
Okay, yeah, give me an insight roll.
Okay. I have an 18.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that she doesn't want to overstep her bounds, I guess. Like she doesn't want to say anything that could get her in trouble.
Who here is good with talking at the little ones?
I'm pretty good socially.
Okay, if you can convince her, I think. I don't know if we break off to have a little game plan or whatever. And just a moment.
You're
maybe,
just
and
talking
take
in
some-
front of her. She's like, you know, I can hear
intimidate
you.
her, but I don't want to do that.
Be a little quieter then. But if you could find some way to ask her to tell us, because we're here for important work. We're not going to share it with anyone who doesn't need to know, and nobody needs to know. It's just us. But if she could tell us as much as she knows about what's going on with that windmill, so we can help save the other people in the town. Oh, she's just hearing me say that? I did not lower my voice at all.
Well, I'm waiting to figure out if you want her to respond to that or if you're gonna put it up into something else.
You know what? How far away did I step?
Not far enough away.
Freya's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And she turns back to Emmy and she's like, we were just talking about how helpful it was that you ended up bringing us toward the city. It was really brave, honestly, that you were all by yourself in the woods and you came to find us. It was pretty cool.
Thank you.
Your moms must be really proud of you.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they know that it's a dangerous.
Yeah, of course, super dangerous. But I mean, they brought you here to this dangerous place. They figure that you can take care of yourself. I mean, of course, they're going to make sure that you're safe and everything. I mean, they're great parents, I'm sure. I mean, we've only met Gabrielle so far. We hope to meet Janice eventually. But listen, we're really interested in the windmill, and if you've been there, it would be really helpful to tell us what you know about it, just to keep ourselves safe. I mean, if you have any hints for us, and it's okay, we won't tell anyone if you've been there before, but if you have anything that you can share, we would love to hear it.
Yeah, give me a roll.
Sure. I'm gonna roll persuasion. 13.
Yeah, you can tell there's a bit of like a debate in her mind. You know, part of her
You know
wants.
what? I help with that. I take out Inkfoot, and I'm like,
Aw.
you seem like an adequate companion for my wolf, and would you like to pet it? And I'm gonna massage her,
Inkfoot will make you
Feelings,
brave.
Yeah, she like lights up, obviously. 'Cause it's a dog.
Yeah.
Sal,
And-
turn into a dog.
She runs
Gigantic
screaming.
thing. Hey!
Look at the nice
I'm a
puppy.
puppy, sure.
Do it! Yeah, she sort of kneels down and starts petting the dog, and almost like without thinking, she sort of says, "Yeah, well, I do want to help, and I know that Mom says that I shouldn't know, but I've heard them talk about it. There's been a few people in town that have said over time that they should get rid of it, but all I know is that what lives there, at least Mom says, is called a banshee. It's apparently very old, and it's not alone in there. But
Not alone.
Don't say that I told you.
No,
Please.
don't worry about that.
Of course not.
Anyway,
We have a treacherous road ahead of us. We must go to the windmill. Would you take care of Inkfoot while I am away?
Ooh.
oh, of course. I'd love
And then
to.
I'm like, this is his sleeping cage. Here's his food.
Oh,
You know.
oh, does
Like once I heard
that-
Banshee, I was like, this could be really dangerous. So like, I want to
Yeah.
make sure Inkfoot is taken care of before we go out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. I mean, again, you still should sleep before going.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to ask her? Great role playing, by the way.
Oh, that guy that everyone says is odd. I'm sorry, I have to keep checking the names. Not Topper.
Davis?
I don't suppose she might have gotten. I'm banking on the idea of the darndest things kids say, sort of thing. She could be a
Yeah,
little more
kids are-
specific.
More
He
descriptive
sucks.
and odd.
Yeah, he's a poop head. What are you asking here?
Before we go, do you know anyone in the town named Davis Strott?
Oh, yeah, he's a bit of a loser. He's staying at the inn, although I don't think anyone's seen him since it all happened.
And just before we go, Weasel How?
He always seemed like this town was beneath him, but he needed to stay here because he didn't have anywhere else to go. I think. At least that's what Cole told me. He knows more about it.
Well, I think
Thank you so
I've
much, Emmy.
interrogated the child enough.
Where are the other drugs headed?
She smiles and says, and please don't tell my mom I told you. Hi, Inkfoot. And then she like shuts the door. You hear yipping and blood curdling
That's the
screams.
best.
And blood rips out from under the door.
No, she's gonna undo all of the careful training that Kala has
Yeah.
been trying to work on.
When
When you come back, Inkfoot's like
It's gonna bark at
sleeping.
you.
Drinking Coca-Cola.
Yeah, like wants to sleep on your pillow at night instead of in its sleeping cage, and it eats like people food now.
So, where do you go now?
The
Do we want to
windmill.
talk to Cole?
No, yeah, let's talk to.
Oh,
Cole
sleep,
again.
rest, right? Or we're
Yeah,
talking-
I think you guys need to go speak to Cole. at
Probably
this
like
point, 'cause-
lunchtime by now, right?
Yeah, I think now it's sort of a fair time to sleep if you wanted to.
Well, with
Well, walk me
that,
through what
I'll
happened.
find my own place to sleep for the night, I suppose. I guess I have my pick of the houses of what remains.
Just break into an abandoned home and make yourself comfy.
I mean, well, Brea, I assume you could help me with the lock of one.
You
I
can just ask
could.
Madeline.
But I think we should get permission first. I mean, I don't have any problem with it, but I want to make sure we're doing things above board here for now.
I don't want.
Oh, Brigitte.
Kala set up a tent for you.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I forgot about the tent. I forgot. Oh yes, the
There's
tent.
also when you arrived, there were like tents out front too that you could stay in.
Yeah, you can stay outside of the town.
I used Kala's tent. No problem with
Cool.
that.
Yeah, so you go camp somewhere inconspicuous.
Where is that tent, by the way?
By the windmill.
The windmill?
No,
Okay,
just kidding,
yay.
just kidding.
I'll get an early start scouting
By the
it.
windmill.
You tent in the graveyard.
No,
It's
it's by the
in-
little fire. By the fire
It's
in
in the
front.
crevasse.
Okay.
You could camp by the worthy journey.
There's a crevasse. I didn't even see it.
You know
Oh,
what?
it's
Yes,
crevasse. There's, like,
I
three
would like to
crevasses.
camp by the
That's where they
worthy
all
journey.
came from.
No one would bother
Oh.
me. I'll be there, and I can keep an eye on anyone who might try to get in because it's
Ooh, smart
unoccupied.
thinking.
Yeah, just make sure no one steals from there.
I'll do my
That'll be
best.
bad.
Wink, lie. Perfect. So the three of you head into the tavern once again. The same people are in there. It's only been an hour. Avar and Cole Basewind stands behind. Avar's there. Cole Basewind stands behind the counter, and young Lewis Hunter, playing with his dice, sit in the corner.
Hmm.
I guess Garrus and Brea haven't been here yet, so you're greeted. Oh no, you did. You
We
came
went
in.
in.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you return.
Do we want
Cole.
to talk to Avar? Oh, no,
Hello.
never mind.
Evening.
I mean, we can talk to Avar.
Evening.
No, let's talk to Cole.
Cole, we have some questions for you,
Uh,
if you don't mind.
I can help.
Can you spare a moment for us, or are you busy?
We're slammed.
He gestures to the empty bar as a joke.
Oh, Cole.
I mean, he actually does have a great sense of humor.
He's
had,
good.
You had no time to deal with it. Literally says, Cole Basewind, playful, owner of the Bulwark Inn.
I did not get playful for him at all. That's my fault.
You literally said nothing to him.
Like the first thing you said to
Walked
him
in the
was
back,
You're not a real orc.
fucking
stared
coward.
at him.
Fucking coward.
Why don't you like me though?
Yeah.
So good.
That was ultra creepy. That was awesome. Just like wandering around.
And then you guys all started hitting on him too. It was very bad introduction.
I hit on him a couple times.
in
This
the
poor
relationship.
man.
It's definitely not skewed. We really don't. I like to do it. Anyway, yeah. What do you ask?
We want to know his opinion on Davis Strop, right?
Yeah.
All right.
He's missing.
Yeah, but what's the deal? Before he was missing, what did you think of him?
He was a piece of work.
What does that mean?
Well,
And he sort of thinks he likes. Who gave him the really nice compliment? Garrus did, because he mentioned his brother, and then Brea sort of doubled down. So you can tell there's hesitancy, and then he looks at Garrus, appreciates what he said earlier, and kind of begins talking to Garrus, maybe fleetingly looking at Brea every once in a while.
Davis was originally part of the ship that brought us over here, but he was disowned by the captain when he was caught stealing. So he had to join this town. It's the only place to be in 100 miles. He did odd jobs for a while. He stayed here. I tried hiring him once or twice, but gave off a bad vibe. Customers didn't like him. He worked for the priest once or twice as well. Did work for him. I don't know of what nature. That's as much as I could say. I think everybody in town who owns a business had him work for him at one point or another. But it was bad news as far as I'm concerned.
Did he ever mention his opinion on Mageline?
I don't think he liked her very much. He was a very anti-authority kind of kid. A human. You know how they can be.
Mm.
Especially
Yeah,
when
enough.
it comes to taking orders from anyone other than a human.
Oh. Was he the kind of person to act on that? Do something rash? Or very well planned out, but secret?
As much as I disliked the kid, he didn't have much of a brain between his ears. I think he was capable of doing something stupid. But too stupid to be capable, if you know what I mean.
I know the
I
type.
like that.
Loud as a motorbike, but wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight.
What is a
What's the
motorbike?
but is that an animal from this
I've got
continent?
99 problems.
What?
Tell
Loud
me.
as a motorbike, but couldn't what? A
You know the
grape
type,
in a
loud as
food
a
fight?
motorbike, but wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight.
Oh God! Okay.
These ancient rhymes.
That's right.
It was a time long ago.
War
That problem
chant.
didn't seem like it was that long ago, but
You said he worked at nearly every establishment in town and was fired from each of them. Did you ever know
Pretty
him
much.
to work at the Worthy Journey?
I think so, yeah.
And was that recently or no?
I can't recall. He kicked around a lot. Even if he wasn't working for one job specifically, he was always repairing fences for one person or another.
Tell me, Cole, when was the last time you saw Omazuman Windspell? Omazuman.
Oh, that's a good question. I suppose it was the night of the explosion.
I understand a lot of people went missing then. Can you recall when exactly was the last time you saw him?
Well, if I'm being honest, It was probably within 30 minutes of the explosion. He came in here for his dinner. He normally ate it in here, but I suppose he decided to eat it back at the temple that night for whatever reason.
Was it rabbit sausage?
Yes.
All right. And what about Tappert Key?
Tappert. He's a fucking weirdo.
Really?
Yeah. He rents a room for me as well, too, though I don't think anyone's seen him before or after the explosion.
Tell me more about Tappert. He's a quill maker, a turtle?
Yeah.
And what else did you learn about him during his time here?
Well, he's a turtle, and he's a quill maker.
Understood. And went missing after the blast, and that's what we got about Tappert.
Pretty much.
Cool. All right. I think we have some things that we should probably discuss
Yes.
together. Thank you very much,
Of
Cole.
course.
And we'll be retiring shortly. So.
I have a room ready for you when you need it.
Thank
as long
you.
as your friend stays out.
Oh, yeah. Sal will stay away from you, we promise.
Is that its name?
Yes. And we leave, and Brea's like, I think this is all coming together. Davis seems like he had the opportunity to take the dynamite from the Worthy journey, but didn't have the brains to plan something. Robert Thompson, I don't know. I don't get the impression from him that he was involved, maybe. He was just a coward looking for an opportunity to run away from this explosion, from the monsters leaking out of the temple, and tried to take shelter in the windmill. I think there's someone else behind all of this. Maybe Tappert, maybe Omazaman. We have his diary, do we not?
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
That we
Garrison
pulled out of
take
the
it
temple, right?
Did you keep it?
Yeah.
I think so. I have in like leather-bound book as one of my things. that I
Perfect.
took.
So maybe we go and find Sal getting ready for an early nap in his tent, and we're like, Sal, here's what we learned, and then we like all huddle around and read the diary together.
Thank
Perfect.
you for
Yeah,
including
You
him.
reread the diary and are reminded of the following. The nights are colder than they should be. I wonder if the land is remembering a time when darkness ruled and the sun did not shine. I worry about what that means. This temple is one of darkness. Did the dwarves know the irony of their worship? And the last entry, the one that is partially unfinished. Mr. Thompson wanted to eat with me tonight. I suppose he's lonely. He was all manner of disappointed when I told him I'd rather eat in bed in the temple and enjoy a good book. And we are going to end it there for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Hereafter Chapter 9. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. As always, this was an absolute blast.
Connecting names now. Oh, so good.
How you like that? Now you're figuring it all out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like the video, please make sure to like the video. We'll be back next Tuesday at 7:30 as always. And we have a new sigil spotlight this Friday at 1. So make sure to check that out. Beyond that, what else we got going on? If you want to hang out for a fun game, join us tomorrow night on the Invictus stream as we play Jared and the Argonauts. Our take on, I guess, Jason and the Argonauts. We're gonna find out what the hell that is. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah. If you like mythology fucked up, come and hang out tomorrow.
Also, tomorrow night we have a new episode of our show, Dice Shame. If you like D&D, 5e, or actual play podcasts, check out Dice Shame. DiceShamePodcast.com. It's a blast. We're entered. Actually, Ahmed, you'd like this. We were nominated to be in the running of the New Jersey Film Festival or something like that.
Webfest,
cool.
New Jersey
Webfest.
Webfest. Dice Shame was selected as
That's
the initial early, not winner, but
Early nominee.
early nominee. So
I don't know how
we're-
you'd. I don't
we're
know
the
how you'd say
first
it.
person.
Oh,
Fiction podcast actual
Early
play.
selection.
Early selection
There you
of the
go.
New Jersey
Nice.
Web Fest for 2022,
That's awesome.
alongside Old Gods of Appalachia, which is a huge one. So we're
cool.
we're
Well
really excited about
done. Feather token in your cap.
Ah,
That's called back to old
that.
loot. Yeah.
Skip.
And if Malevolent gets nominated, or we get nominated for multiple categories, we're probably going to be going down to
Yeah, there's like an actual fucking red
It's a
carpet
real.
that
It's an
you
in-person
go
thing,
and
which
like
we
drink
didn't
your
realize. So
champagne
maybe
and
we'll be down
accept
in your
an award
neck of the
thing.
woods, Ahmed, and you can put us all up. For,
Yeah, we're gonna come crash your
Yeah,
place in
come
New
to
Jersey.
Good. We're there.
Jersey.
You can show us all of the things in Jersey that's worth living for.
There's
I'll
a
show you New
river.
York.
Yeah.
I think that's a joke. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been a blast, as my good friend Gary always likes to say.
2 cups of flour, 5 handfuls of water, and a shit ton of yeast. Thank me later.
Do it!
Hey. Thank everybody.